Ha! Season 3 of Louder and Prouder thought it could sneak past me. Like I would let that happen. You know, I do like this show. It's just that sometimes the writing just misses. Which is only magnified when it misses while talking about social issues. I wonder what moment from this season is gonna be the first one to explode on Twitter. Oh, have we already passed that window? Of the new season, Game Changer is probably the most frustrating episode. Because I think it has a point that it actually tackles in an interesting way. But every plot point seems to be asking me to forget everything I know about this show and even this episode as I'm watching it while basically assassinating one of the few characters who didn't have a lot of haters in the fanbase. Game Changer follows a simple premise. The guys make fun of the girls and say that they can't beat them at video games because they're girls, and Penny takes offense to that and sets out to prove them wrong by beating them in a tournament. Now, I'm gonna start out by talking about what I think this episode was trying to do. I think the linchpin of the theme of this episode is the fact that KG doesn't actually think girls are bad at video games. Maybe. Yes, I know this is an odd thing to say considering later in the video I'm gonna complain about how much the guys don't think girls can play video games, but bear with me. Let's go to the beginning of the episode where KG beats Zoey in a dance game and they have this exchange.
Nice try, Zoey. You did good for
For a what? For a girl?
No, for a beginner. But since you want to go there with an attitude, yeah, for a girl.
What?
It's important to know that KG didn't bring up the idea that boys are better at video games than girls. Zoey did. He just played into it. Ignoring everything else about this episode and skipping right to the end after this, it tries to address an interesting take on being sexist. KG was just trash talking. Allegedly, he doesn't actually believe boys are better than girls at video games. Maybe. He was just trying to psych Penny out for the competition. But it had unintended results. The girls took it very seriously. And so did the 10-year-old competitor who started a harassment campaign against Penny. Dare I say, I think this episode is trying to tackle the topic of the manosphere. Or something like that. KG isn't actually supposed to be sexist. He's playing a role for the competition while ignoring the effect that role is having. The fact the girls definitely believe it and the fact other people who hear him say it will believe it and take things farther than he ever intended them to. When people don't realize that you're playing up a character, they may take cues from you and take your exaggerations very seriously. And from there you have to take responsibility for that. It's an interesting idea regarding being responsible for your words and actions. Too bad it sucks. The episode proper is mired in a bunch of writing problems that having a good theme cannot save it from, especially when those problems tend to get in the way of the theme. And the immediate problem is that all the guys besides Michael are really sexist. You ever get the feeling that sometimes the writers forget Michael's also a guy? KG doesn't just play into Zoey's accusation. All the straight guys start talking about it like it's an objective fact. It's hard to believe that they are all simultaneously playing into this role unprompted. The only one who's believable about it is Kareem, who says he just doesn't think the girls can beat KG. Less a sexist comment and more a statement on a believed skill difference. And the guys do not slow down for a second. When Penny does beat KG, he does seem bothered that he lost to a girl. Keep that in mind. Later, in their game chat, the guys refer to each other as females to emphasize that they suck at the game they're playing. Now, I've never been in one of these, but from what I've heard, this does seem like a realistic depiction of trash talk you don't really mean. Just, lacking all the racial slurs. When his sister confronts him about how he was acting, he doesn't break character, instead he keeps it up. If he's faking it, this is the performance of a lifetime, the way he's hyper-focused on just Penny over every other competitor. And maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but even at the end, I think he denies that he didn't mean it when she asks.
So you didn't really mean all that boys being better than girls stuff?
I didn't say all that. I was just talking trash, trying to get inside her head.
It's not that I don't think it's possible this was all just posturing, but it never stops, and even without the sexism, keeping it going this long reflects negatively on him. Especially when he keeps the same dumb look on his face after Penny's been doxxed and is being booed by everyone until she turns to leave the tournament. It's only when Damien reveals that he is directly responsible for it that he snaps out of it. Even if he isn't sexist, he's hardly being a good friend. Look back at the group chat gaming session. Regardless of your thoughts on them calling each other girls, they all gave as good as they got and never took it personally the way the girls clearly did. They were in on the joke. The girls, and Michael, were not. This feels like something, well, Penny's female friends would do. Who knows? Maybe I'm overreacting because this is his first offense compared to how I just expect LaCienega to sabotage Penny when the opportunity arises. And I think this all stems from the fact that the writers wanted the girls to boldly stand up to KG and always humiliate him when he tried to throw a sexist idea at them, but that means the guys couldn't stop and the girls couldn't play into the trash talk. This might be on purpose to play into the theme, but it still feels like character assassination, even though I know it may as well not have happened when future episodes come up. Just in the previous episode, KG asked Penny to use her stealth suit to break into an adoption agency to do him a favor, which makes his behavior in this episode all the more jarring. Though, you know, one thing that's really funny is that I have this thing where I remember all the previous episodes of this show, so the idea of the guys being sexist in this show in particular is kind of funny because it's I'm pretty sure at this point the girls have proven without a shadow of a doubt that they are at the very, very least equal to the boys, both physically and mentally. So it's really funny to think about this in the context of that and wonder so do the guys just accept that girls and guys are equally capable in everything except playing video games? And that is only part of my problem with the episode. Beyond that, there are things that simply make no sense in regard to what came before in the same episode. In what I can only assume was a move intended to extend the runtime, the show tries to create this scenario where Penny has to train to win the tournament. And it simply does not work because earlier in the episode, as part of the girl boss standing up to sexism thing, it was clearly established that she is the best. So revealing that KG was evidently going easy on her because she's a girl and instilling the idea that she needs to step her game up feels like the show is just lying to me. Did KG lose to her on purpose while saying girls are bad at games? Why? And why does his performance in a dancing game have any relevance to a fighting game she's already been established to be better at him at, even when he didn't know she was a girl? Or could he smell her femininity through his computer? Penny can't both be the best and the underdog. It doesn't work like that. If you wanted tension in the story, she should have been losing at the beginning and then getting better by the time the tournament rolled around. Why do they look so shocked that she won as if that's basically not to be expected? Did the revelation that Copperhead is a girl make everyone, including Penny, forget that she's already proven she's great at the game? Speaking of Penny being the best, Copperhead makes no sense. This is the pseudonym Penny uses when she secretly games with the boys and it raises so many questions. Why? The guys clearly know Copperhead a lot and have respect for her gaming skill. She's famous enough that the announcer at the tournament felt the need to point out the fact that, whoa, shock of all shocks, Copperhead is actually a girl, to which everyone was flabbergasted by. So, why has she been keeping it a secret? The guys have very clearly never really played into the male versus female gamer thing before now, so why would she not tell them that she's the one they're playing with? Penny has no reason to secretly infiltrate their gaming group, and I dare say that it's completely out of character for her to be keeping it a secret for so long that she has a reputation without telling them, unless she was actively trying to spy on them. Which also feels pretty out of character for her to do for such an extended period of time, for seemingly no reason. But the reason only came to exist in this episode. It's just separate elements of the plot being introduced for the sake of the short-term hit without thinking about how it fits into the story, and that winds up meaning that the story doesn't make sense. Also, why did Nubia appear out of nowhere to threaten violence and then immediately disappear when they were having the sexism talk? She wasn't there before and she isn't in the rest of the episode. Things like that make the writing of the episode feel janky as the plot just fails to come together. Also, Breadwinner being a girl was incredibly predictable. So how to conclude this? YouTube started this new feature called Hype that seems to be about promoting really good videos. So if you think this video was really good, there should be a hype button somewhere down below. So please, feel free to press it. Shout out to my patrons, A and Skyman. What did you think of the episode? Tell me in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and good day.